I should have known something was wrong when I saw the seating chart. My name, Maya Rodriguez, was scrawled in barely legible handwriting on a card placed at table 14, sandwiched between Great Aunt Gertrude, who hadn't spoken to anyone in the family since 1987, and my sister's college roommates plus one whom nobody knew. The head table, where family traditionally sits, sparkled with elegant calligraphy bearing the names of cousins I barely spoke to, childhood friends of my sister Sophia, and even our neighbor's teenage daughter who used to steal our mail. But I smiled and took my seat, because this was Sophia's day. My little sister, though at 28, she wasn't so little anymore, had found her prince in Marcus, a hedge fund analyst with kind eyes and an unfortunate tendency to laugh too loudly at his own jokes. After 3 years of planning, postponements due to the pandemic, and enough stress to gray both our mother's remaining dark hairs, the wedding was finally happening. The ceremony had been beautiful. Sophia looked radiant in our grandmother's restored lace dress, and I had genuinely teared up when she and Marcus exchanged vows they'd written themselves. Even when Marcus stumbled over the word cherish and pronounced it cheese, making half the congregation giggle, the love between them was palpable. It was during cocktail hour that I first noticed the difference in treatment. While guests mingled on the terrace of the country club, servers circulated with gleaming silver trays of bacon-wrapped scallops, mini beef Wellington, and Sophia's favorite, truffle mac and cheese bites that cost $40 per dozen. I watched table after table of guests feast on these delicacies while I stood near the bar, apparently invisible to the catering staff. "Excuse me," I finally flagged down a server, a young woman with kind eyes and a professional smile. "Could I get some of those appetizers?" She looked confused, glanced at a list on her clipboard, then back at me. "I'm sorry, what's your name?" "Maya Rodriguez. I'm the bride's sister." Her expression shifted to something resembling pity. "Oh, let me check with the catering manager." She hurried away, leaving me standing alone while laughter and conversation swirled around me. I watched Sophia across the terrace, radiant and glowing, as guests congratulated her and Marcus. She caught my eye once and waved, but before I could approach her, she was swept away by another group of well-wishers. The server returned 15 minutes later with a small plate. On it sat 2 pieces of plain white bread and a small cup of water. "This is what I have available for you," she said apologetically. "I'm really sorry." I stared at the plate. The bread wasn't even buttered. It looked like something from a discount grocery store, the kind of generic loaf that costs 99 cents and tastes like cardboard. Around me, guests continued to enjoy gourmet appetizers while I held what looked like a child's punishment meal. "There must be some mistake," I said. The server looked uncomfortable. "I was told specifically, look, I really can't say more. I'm sorry." That's when I noticed Marcus's groomsman, Derek, watching me from across the terrace. When our eyes met, he quickly looked away, but not before I caught something in his expression. Satisfaction. Derek had never liked me, though I'd never understood why. He was Marcus's college roommate and closest friend, the kind of guy who made edgy jokes that weren't quite funny enough to laugh at, but weren't quite offensive enough to call out. The dinner was worse. While the rest of the reception enjoyed a choice between filet mignon or pan-seared salmon, my place setting contained the same dry bread, now accompanied by a small side salad that looked like it had been assembled from wilted lettuce found in the back of a refrigerator. The water in my glass was warm. I looked around the table. Great Aunt Gertrude was savoring her perfectly cooked steak, making small pleased sounds with each bite. Even the unknown plus one was enjoying what appeared to be the most beautifully prepared salmon I'd ever seen, complete with some kind of herb crust that caught the light from the chandeliers. "This is delicious," the plus one said to no one in particular. Sophia really outdid herself with the menu selection. I picked at my sad salad and tried to catch Sophia's eye, but she was busy at the head table, laughing with her bridesmaids and feeding Marcus bites of cake during what was apparently an impromptu pre-dessert cake tasting. Every time I started to get up to speak with her, someone else would approach her table, or the photographer would call for another round of pictures, or the DJ would announce something that required her attention. It was during the father-daughter dance that I finally understood this wasn't an accident. I had stepped outside for some air, my stomach growling audibly after a dinner consisting of 3 bites of lettuce and half a slice of stale bread. The terrace was mostly empty, with guests either inside watching the dance or around at the bar. That's when I heard voices coming from an alcove near the kitchen entrance. "I can't believe she actually showed up." Derek's voice, unmistakable with that slight Boston accent he'd never quite lost. "I told Sophia she should have just uninvited her entirely." This was Jessica, Sophia's maid of honor and best friend since high school. "After what she did. Sophia's too nice. But at least she listened to us about the food situation, making sure Maya gets exactly what she deserves." My blood turned to ice. I pressed myself against the wall, hidden in the shadows, as their conversation continued. "Do you think she knows?" Jessica asked. "About the video?" "She has to. That's why she's been so quiet all night. She knows everyone here has seen it. I still can't believe she thought she could keep it secret forever. Recording Marcus like that, trying to break them up right before the wedding." My heart stopped. "Video? What video?" Derek laughed, but there was no warmth in it. Thank God Marcus came clean to Sophia about Maya trying to seduce him, and the fact that she was secretly recording their conversation, probably planning to blackmail him or something, that's just sick. Sophia was devastated when she found out, her own sister trying to destroy her happiness. Well, she's getting what's coming to her now. Dry bread for a dry, manipulative bitch. They laughed together, and I heard their footsteps moving away. I remained pressed against the wall, my mind racing. They were talking about a video that didn't exist, a seduction that never happened, a betrayal I never committed. But someone had convinced Sophia it was real. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands and scrolled through my photos and videos from the past few months. There, from 6 weeks ago, at Marcus and Sophia's engagement party. I had taken a video of Marcus giving a heartfelt speech about Sophia, how much he loved her, how grateful he was to be joining our family. In the video, you could hear my voice occasionally saying, "That's so sweet," or "Aw," the way people do when they're genuinely moved. But if someone had edited the audio, taken out Sophia's voice and other context, isolated certain moments, I felt sick. Someone had weaponized an innocent moment, turned my genuine happiness for my sister into evidence of betrayal, and Sophia had believed it. The rest of the reception passed in a blur. I watched my sister dance with her new husband, saw her laugh with friends who all apparently thought I was a manipulative monster, and endured pitying or accusatory glances from relatives who had known me my entire life. Every smile felt like a knife, every laugh like a slap. I went home that night and cried for 3 hours. Then I got angry. It took me 2 weeks to figure out how they'd done it. The original video from my phone had been uploaded to Sophia's shared family cloud account, where all of us stored photos from family events. Someone with access had downloaded it, edited it carefully, and then shown Sophia the manipulated version while deleting the original from the shared folder. But I'm a software engineer. I understand metadata, cloud backups, and digital forensics better than whoever had framed me understood my technical skills. It took another week to trace the editing software license, cross-reference download times with the guest list from the engagement party, and piece together the timeline. Derek had done the technical work, but Jessica had been the mastermind. I found traces of their planning in cached data from social media messages, fragments of deleted emails, and even security camera footage from the office building where Derek worked that showed Jessica visiting him the week after the engagement party. But why? That was the question that kept me up at night. Why had Jessica, who had been my friend too, decided to destroy my relationship with my sister? I found the answer in an old college yearbook Sophia had shown me months earlier. There was Jessica, 18 years old, with an inscription that made my blood boil. To Sophia, my forever best friend. Promise me your maid of honor will always be me, no matter what. Some sisters can't be trusted, but best friends are forever. XOXO. Jess. Jessica had been planning this for years. She saw me as a threat to her position as the most important person in Sophia's life, and she had systematically worked to eliminate me. The wedding was just the culmination, but I had something she didn't expect. Proof. Sophia's second wedding anniversary was approaching. The first anniversary had been too soon, with emotions still too raw, when I finally made my move. Jessica was throwing Sophia a surprise anniversary dinner party at her house, a small, intimate gathering of Sophia's closest friends and family. Everyone would be there. Everyone who had been at the wedding. Everyone who had watched me eat dry bread and thought I deserved it. I arrived with a small gift bag and a laptop. Maya. Sophia looked genuinely surprised to see me. We had maintained minimal contact over the past 2 years, brief text exchanges on holidays and birthdays, but nothing more. I didn't know Jessica had invited you. Jessica appeared beside her, and for just a moment, I saw naked panic in her eyes before she recovered. Of course. Maya is family. The dinner was perfectly orchestrated, just like everything Jessica did. The food was incredible, the decorations elegant, and the guest list precisely curated. Derek was there, of course, along with most of Sophia's bridal party, several family members, and Marcus's closest friends. About 20 people total, all of whom had been present for my humiliation. After dinner, Jessica stood up with a champagne flute. I wanted to say a few words about Sophia and Marcus, and how wonderful it is to see them so happy together after everything they've overcome. She launched into a speech about true love conquering all, about the importance of trust in marriage, and about how grateful she was to have been there to support Sophia through difficult family situations. Several people glanced at me during this last part. When she finished, I stood up. Thank you, Jessica. That was beautiful. And since we're celebrating Sophia and Marcus's love, I thought this would be the perfect time to share something I've been working on. I opened my laptop and connected it to Jessica's large-screen TV. It's a little presentation about truth, family, and the importance of not believing everything you see. The first slide appeared on the screen. The anatomy of a lie. Sophia looked confused. Maya, what are you? Please, just give me 5 minutes. This is important. The next slide showed a timeline. March 15th, 2023. Maya records innocent video of Marcus's engagement speech. March 22nd, 2023. Original video downloaded from Family Cloud by user Derek B. Boston. March 23rd, 2023. Video editing software purchased under Jessica Chen's credit card. March 25th, 2023. Edited video file created. March 26th, 2023. Edited video shown to Sophia. The room had gone completely quiet. I could see Derek's face going pale, and Jessica had set down her champagne glass with a shaking hand. Maya, what is this? Sophia's voice was barely a whisper. This is the truth about why I was fed dry bread at your wedding while everyone else enjoyed a $50 per plate meal. I clicked to the next slide, which showed side-by-side audio waveforms. On the left is the original video from my phone. You can see my voice, your voice, Marcus's voice, and background conversation from other party guests. On the right is the edited version that was shown to Sophia. Notice how all the context has been removed, how responses have been moved to different questions, and how an innocent family moment has been transformed into something sinister. I played both versions. In the original, you could clearly hear Sophia laughing and talking with me as Marcus gave his speech about how much he loved her and how honored he felt to be joining our family. My comments were clearly supportive and sisterly. In the edited version, Sophia's voice had been completely removed, along with all context. My innocent, "that's so sweet" responses had been moved to make it sound like I was responding to entirely different statements, creating the impression of an inappropriate conversation. "This," I said, advancing to the next slide, which showed bank records and software purchases, "is the digital trail that shows exactly who created this fake video and when." Jessica was now white as a sheet. Derek looked like he might vomit. But I wasn't done. The question, of course, is why? Why would someone go to such elaborate lengths to destroy the relationship between two sisters? I clicked to the next slide, which showed screenshots of old social media posts, yearbook inscriptions, and text messages I'd managed to recover. The answer is a pathological need to be the most important person in Sophia's life, combined with a willingness to lie, manipulate, and destroy innocent people to maintain that position. I turned to face the room. Everyone was staring at the screen, at Jessica, at me. Sophia had tears streaming down her face. For 2 years, I have lived with the knowledge that my sister, the person I love most in the world, believed I was capable of betraying her in the cruelest possible way. For 2 years, I have been treated as a pariah by my own family. I missed the birth of my cousin's baby because no one wanted me there. I spent last Christmas alone because I wasn't welcome at family dinner. My voice was steady, but inside I was shaking. All because someone decided that her jealousy was more important than the truth. I clicked to the final slide. Every piece of evidence from this presentation has been submitted to a digital forensics expert and verified by an independent third party. Copies have been sent to everyone in this room. The truth has a way of coming out eventually. The silence in the room was deafening. You could hear the grandfather clock in Jessica's hallway ticking, the sound of someone's phone buzzing, the distant noise of traffic outside. Sophia stood up slowly. She looked at Jessica, then at Derek, then at me. "Is this real?" "Every word," I said quietly. "Every piece of evidence, all verifiable." "Jessica?" Sophia's voice was barely audible. "Tell me this isn't true." Jessica looked around the room desperately, as if searching for an escape route or an ally. Finding neither, she seemed to crumble. Sophia, you have to understand. I was trying to protect you. I was afraid that." "That what?" "That I might love my sister? That I might want her in my life? You were always talking about Maya this and Maya that, and I've been your best friend since we were 14, Sophia. I've always been there for you." Derek, apparently deciding his loyalty lay with saving himself, threw Jessica under the bus. This was all Jessica's idea. She came to me with the video concept. I just did the technical work. The betrayal on Jessica's face was something to behold, but I felt no satisfaction from it. This whole situation was ugly and painful, and seeing it all come apart was more draining than triumphant. Sophia walked over to me, tears still streaming down her face. "Maya, I am so sorry. I am so sorry." I started crying then, 2 years of pain and isolation finally finding release. "I just wanted you to be happy, Soph. I would never hurt you." "I know. Oh God, I know. I should have known." She wrapped her arms around me, and for the first time in 2 years, I felt like I had my sister back. The party, needless to say, ended abruptly after that. Guests filed out quietly, most avoiding eye contact with Jessica or Derek. Marcus, who had been silent throughout my presentation, finally spoke as he helped Sophia gather her things. "I should have questioned it more," he said quietly. "Something about the video never felt right, but I trusted Derek's judgment. I'm sorry, Maya." I nodded. Marcus was a good man who had been manipulated just like the rest of us. Jessica made one last attempt at damage control as we prepared to leave. "Sophia, you have to believe me. I never meant for things to go this far. I love you so much, and I was afraid of losing you." Sophia looked at her with a mixture of sadness and disgust. "You didn't lose me, Jessica. You threw me away. There's a difference." The aftermath was both satisfying and exhausting. Word spread quickly through our social circle about what had really happened. The family members who had shunned me for 2 years suddenly wanted to reconnect, full of apologies and explanations about how they'd always had their doubts about the story. Some of the apologies felt genuine. Others felt like people trying to save face. I learned to tell the difference and responded accordingly. Derek lost his job when his company discovered he'd used office resources to create the fake video. Jessica lost most of her friend group when the story got out, and Sophia, understandably, never spoke to her again. But the real resolution came 6 months later, at a small family dinner Sophia hosted for my birthday. It was just our parents, Sophia, Marcus, and me, the first time we'd all been together in over 2 years. "I have something for you," Sophia said as we finished dessert. She handed me a small wrapped box. Inside was a necklace with a pendant that read, "Sister," in delicate script lettering. "I should have given this to you as a bridesmaid gift," she said, tears in her eyes again. "I should have had you in my wedding party. I should have trusted you. I should have been a better sister." "You were being a good person," I said, fastening the necklace. "You believed someone you trusted. That's not a character flaw, Soph. That's what makes you who you are." "I'm never going to make that mistake again," she said firmly. "Family first. Always." Looking back now, 3 years later, I sometimes wonder if I handled the situation correctly. The revenge video, because that's what it was, even though it was truthful, was brutal and public. It destroyed Jessica's reputation and probably Derek's career prospects. But then I remember the taste of dry bread at my sister's wedding, the 2 years of isolation from my family, and the casual cruelty of people who thought I deserved to be punished for something I didn't do. I remember watching my sister celebrate the happiest day of her life while believing I had betrayed her in the worst possible way. Sometimes the truth is the most powerful revenge of all. Sophia and I are closer now than we ever were before. We talk every day, see each other at least twice a week, and she's made it clear that nothing and no one will ever come between us again. Marcus has become the brother I never had, and their daughter, my beautiful niece Emma, calls me her favorite aunt. Last week, Emma asked me why I sometimes look sad when I watch videos of Aunt Sophia's wedding. I told her that sometimes adults make mistakes that hurt the people they love, but the important thing is that we learn from those mistakes and do better. She nodded solemnly, then offered me half of her peanut butter sandwich. It tasted infinitely better than dry bread.